Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of Unique Items. So today's episode is going to be Unique Shields, as you can see by the lovely graphic above my head. Now, there is some things that we have to go over before we talk about any of these shields. Doesn't matter which one of these shields we talk about. Shields is a complicated subject, and we have to talk about more than just simply shields. We have to talk about, number one, all shields have what is called smite damage on them. As you can see, it is a special modifier that is specifically for paladins and the skill smite. Now, smite damage directly affects how much damage you deal with your shield. And as you can see, the higher the shield goes, the higher the smite damage increases. And as you can see, something like the Lidless Wall Grim Shield has a smite damage of 14 to 20, whereas, the Petaluna Buckler is 1 to 3, and so forth and so on. Another thing that we need to talk about before we get into shields is block rate and faster block chance, or faster block rate, sorry. Block chance and faster block rate. Sorry. Now, these two stats are very interesting because block percentage caps out at 75%. What I want to do here is I actually just want to read to you from the Diablo wiki. This is important because this information is going to help you determine whether you want to use a shield or not, and whether you want to get that 75% block rate. So in Diablo 2, there is a 75% cap, 75% chance cap on chance to block. 75% chance of blocking will stop at 75% of physical attacks from hitting, but if the player is running, the total block percentage is reduced to 1/3 of its original value, with a cap of 25%. If the roll of the dice denies a true block, or if the player can't block at all, then and only then are skills such as Amazon's Avoid and Assassin's Weapon Block checked for blocking. You are always eligible for a block check unless you are already in the middle of a blocking animation or in the middle of a struck animation, which is faster hit recovery. All other animations, from regular attacks to whirlwind to casting spells, will override the block animation, but the blocking will still occur. There will just, however, be no animation and no block sound heard. Probability of blocking is calculated as follows. Total blocking. So blocking times dexterity minus 15 divided by character level times 2. So it's an interesting little formula there. As you can see, dexterity directly affects your blocking percentage. Changing the formula around to calculate dexterity needed for 75% block at specific character level. Dexterity equals 150 times character level divided by displayed blocking on shield plus 15. So it actually changes depending on your character level. As you get higher, you need less dexterity to make the blocking hit 75%. Note that displayed blocking will vary between different shields, classes, and is affected by the Paladin's Holy Shield skill. A character is prevented from doing anything else while blocking. The delay caused by blocking can be shortened with the faster block rate ability. Side note, hirelings cannot block, not even an Iron Wolf with a shield. Alright, so then we go to faster block rate. And faster block rate is a coefficient that increases the speed of your blocking when the character makes a successful block. They must perform a full blocking animation before they can do anything else. Faster block rate will reduce the length of this delay. Everybody has a different breakpoint. So, you would need, for instance, 40% block chance, or faster block rate, on an Amazon to hit 10 frames. But on a Druid, you would need 6% faster blocking. On a Paladin, you would need 13 faster blocking to hit 4 frames, so forth and so on. So as you can see, the Paladin is definitely the king of blocking there, especially with Holy Shield. Now, faster block rate is going to allow you to block more quickly and more attacks. So for instance, if you are blocking an attack, you can't therefore block another attack until the animation is finished. So the faster your animation, the more times you can block. So faster block rate breakpoints. There are 25 frames per second, so as the faster block rate increases, the frames decrease. Since the frames of animation cannot be further divided into fractions, this creates breakpoints. You will not see any changes in faster block rate until you pass the next breakpoint. This means that an Amazon with 22 faster block rate is effectively equal to only with 15. So in other words, if she doesn't reach that point where she closes that breakpoint to the next space, she's still at the previous space. So even if you're only 1 point shy, you're still at the previous breakpoint. Breakpoints are interesting because it's the way the game is based off of the 25 frames per second. And you will notice a difference between frames. So, if you have like an Amazon who has a 17 frame block rate, it's going to be awful. Versus if you have a Amazon that has a 6 frame block rate, it's going to be amazing. Paladins in particular, when they have Holy Shield, have a very fast block rate, and you can actually get your frames down to 1. So you can have a block rate where literally you're just like I know, because I've done it in PvP before. It's hilarious. Now, every character has different breakpoints, so you're going to have to take a look on the website and see where you want those breakpoints to be. Some of the best characters are Paladin, Assassin, Druid, and for some reason the Werewolf Druid's not bad, but the Werebear Druid kind of has terrible breakpoints on the faster blocking. All right, so now that we've talked about block rate and block percentage, let's get into the items themselves. So we're going to start off here with the Petaluna Buckler. All right, the Petaluna Buckler is a unique item that has a very low level, a level 2. It's definitely going to be something that you can throw on just about any character that wants to use a shield and not have to worry about it. With a strength requirement of 12 and a required level of 2, I think the only character that can't use that, like literally at level 2, or at level 1, honestly, is a sorceress, because I think she has 10 strength to start out with. So she would have to put 2 points into strength, or find a piece of equipment that gives 2 strength. So very, very good shield early on in the game, just something you can throw on any character. Not a bad thing to have around. So we got 39 defense, 50% chance to block, which is pretty good for level 2. 40% faster block rate. We were just talking about that, so that's going to help you get those tinks faster. And it has 20% increased chance of blocking, which is also very nice. 40% enhanced defense, 30 to defense, 2 to strength, 10 to vitality, 10 to energy. Just a very nice shield all around, especially for level 2. But you could use that well into, Act 2, Act 3, normal, maybe even Act 4, depending on, what you find. You may find something a lot better than this. But, right off the bat, pretty sweet shield. Variants, it really doesn't have much except for the defense. And, at level 2, you got 10 vitality and 10 energy, which is going to be a huge boon to your mana and your health. So, at level 50 or something like that, or 60 or something like that, 10 vitality and 10 energy is nothing. But at level 2, 10 energy and 10 vitality is pretty amazing. As you can see there, since it is the lowest level class shield, it has 1 to 3 smite damage, so pretty awful as far as smite damage is concerned. And so, if you are a smiter paladin, no matter how good this shield is, you'll have to move on once you start leveling up to the higher shields. We have paladins will end up at 50% from this. Most Amazons will be at 45%, assassins, barbarians 45%, and then druids, necromancer, and sorceresses will be at 40% with this shield. So it changes depending on who's wielding it. It's because some classes, like I said, are better with shields than others. All right, so next on the list is the Umbral Disc Small Shield. This one is level 9 with 30% increased chance of blocking. It also has Hits Blinds Target, which is an amazing ability. We talked about that on the helmet video with the Coif of Glory. Hits Blind Target allows you to essentially blind a target and keep them from being able to see you within a certain radius. Imagine it like, you have a light radius around you, and as long as that light radius is touching, the monsters or the people nearby, you can see them and then you can shoot them. Well, the monsters focus on this light radius as well, so when you blind them, their light radius basically goes to 0, and they can only see things that are directly next to them. So if it happens to be a melee character, the melee character can actually run to you, and it can still see you to hit you. But if a ranged character actually cannot see you, then it cannot shoot at you. So very interestingly enough, you can be standing like 2 feet from a ranged monster, and if he is blinded, he won't even be able to shoot at you. It's pretty cool. So 30% increased chance of blocking, hits blinds target, 50% enhanced defense, 30 to defense, 10 to dexterity, which is a pretty good little boost there to your block chance. 20 to life, -2 to light radius, and of course you can socket it if you want to. It is 65% on paladins, 60% block on assassins, amazons, and barbarians, and it's only 55% on druid, necromancer, and sorceress. And then it has a smite damage of 2 to 3, so pretty terrible on the smite damage. We're gonna be pretty awful as far as smite damage is concerned for quite some time until we get to like the nightmare shields and the hell shields. There's really not a lot of really good smite damage shields until later. In fact, the majority of the good smite damage shields are going to be things like spiked shields and bone shields. Just simply because for some reason or another, I guess, because they're spiked and bony, when you smack somebody with them, it hurts more. As for variation on this shield, it has none, just the defense. It also gets plus 10 to 15 to durability, which is kind of a stat that you don't really notice. So, it will have a little bit better durability than a normal small shield. All right, next on the list is the Stormguild Large Shield. The Stormguild Large Shield is 54 defense, 72% blocking on a paladin, 67% on the assassin, amazon, and barbarian, and druid, necromancer, sorceress are 62%. Has 30% increased chance of blocking, adds 1 to 6 lightning damage, which is pretty awful even for level 13. 60% enhanced defense, plus 30 to defense, lightning resist 25, magic damage reduced by 1, attacker takes damage, lightning damage of 3. All in all, it's an okay shield, I guess. I feel like the Petaluna Buckler comes in a little bit higher because it has the 40% faster block rate, the 20% increased chance of blocking. But it does have a higher overall block chance of 72%, so there's that. But without the faster chance of blocking, I'm sure that it will block less often. Not 100% on that. 2 to 4 smite damage, so pretty awful there. And as for variation, it pretty much only varies on the defense. All right, next on the list, we have the Steelclash Kite Shield. The Steelclash Kite Shield is a fairly good shield for a paladin. As you can see, it has plus 1 to paladin skills there. So the Steelclash Kite Shield is 58 defense, 63% block rate for paladins, 58% for Amazon, Assassin, and Barb, and 53% for Druid, Necromancer, and Sorceress. So as you can see, there's a pretty big difference in how much block rate a shield has, depending on the class. Now, the stats are plus 1 to Paladin skill levels, 20% faster block rate, 25% increased chance of blocking, so a very nice blocking shield there. 100% enhanced defense, 20 to defense, all resistances 15, damage reduced by 3, and plus 3 to light radius. And I'll be honest with you, even if I was not a Paladin, it'd be a fun shield to put on just simply because of that faster block, the increased chance of blocking, the all resistances 15. Very nice shield all around for level 17. Once you get into a higher level, you might find something better, but you also might not. It's one of those shields that you hold on to for a little while because it has the plus to skills and it's really good at blocking. Maybe it's not the most defense in the world and it doesn't have all the stats that you want, but you're going to have a hard time finding better than that on a paladin, early on. Now, next we have a Swordback hold. Oh yes, I forgot to say, there's basically no variation on this except for the defense. The Swordback hold is the unique spiked shield. The unique spike shield is defense 51, chance to block 60%, smite damage 5 to 9. As you can see, 2 to 5, 5 to 9. So a big jump there from the kite shield to the Swordback hold. All right. The spike shields tend to have more smite damage than the other shields in the line. So if you are a smiter, it could be an idea to get a Swordback hold early on just so you have that extra smite damage. So, defense 51, 60% chance of blocking for Paladins, 55 for Amazon, Assassin, Barbarian, and 50% for Druid, Necromancer, and Sorceress. Now, it does have some interesting stats here. It has 20% increased chance of blocking, 50% chance of open wounds, which is a fairly good anti-regeneration skill. Kind of does damage based on your level and negates their auto-regeneration. 60% enhanced defense, 10 to extra defense on the shield, and attacker takes damage of 10. So very much a spiky spike shield. They're kind of making it out to be, it does extra smite damage, it has attacker takes damage of 10, it causes your wounds to be open and bleedy, very, very bleedy, spiky, poke you shield. Nice. All right, so next on the list, almost no variation on this except for the defense. Beverits Keep is the next shield, and Beverits Keep is a pretty good tower shield with 87 defense, 64% chance to block. Now that is 59% on Barb, Assassin, and Amazon, and it's only 54% on Druid, Necromancer, and Sorceress. Has a fairly high strength requirement, so if you were a Druid, Necromancer, or Sorceress, maybe you wouldn't want to wield one of these. There's probably better options for you. It has 10% increased chance of blocking, which isn't really a whole lot there. 120% enhanced defense, 32 defense, plus 5 to strength. Fire resist 75%, which is an amazing amount of fire resist for level 19. Magic damage reduced by 5. As for variation on this shield, there's none, except for the defense. And as you can see, the smite damage is pretty pathetic there at 1 to 5 compared to the 5 to 9 on the Swordback hold. So, it's one of those things that if you're a smiter, you look for. All right. And as always, all shields can be socketed, so I've gone ahead and thrown sockets and everything. Next on the list is the Wall of the Eyeless Bone Shield. Now this is a great one for a caster class. It has 20% faster cast rate, 3% mana stolen per hit, 40% enhanced defense, 10 to defense, poison resist 20%, and 5 to mana extra kill. It's only level 20, so you will find something better. Maybe you get a Rhyme Shield later on, or maybe you're just using a Saigon's Tower Shield for +1 to all skills, but a little bit of faster cast never hurt, especially if you tag that up with another faster cast item like a, what's that one unique blade? Prism or something like that. I know it has like 50% faster cast on it. It's a little dagger. All right, so this shield has 50% block chance and 3 to 6 smite damage. It's only 45% on Amazon, Assassin, and Barb, and it's 40% on Druid, Necromancer, and Sorceress. All right, so last on the normal uniques is the Ward Gothic Shield. The Ward Gothic Shield is defense 112, 56% chance to block on Paladin, 51 on Amazon, Assassin, and Barb, and 46 on Druid, Necromancer, and Sorceress. Smite damage is only 2 to 6, and that is the top of the line for normal. And as you can see, the Swordback hold still wins at 5 to 9. So that's why I always say spike shields for smiters. Now, of course, later on in the game, later on in this video, I will be showing you unique Paladin-only shields, and they may have better smite damage, so we'll hold our breath for that. So this shield has 56% chance of blocking, which is 51 on AAB, and it is 46 on DNS. The DNS. And 10% increased chance of blocking, 100% enhanced defense, 40 to defense, 10 to strength, all resistances 50, and magic damage reduced by 2. Now, this shield does vary in the all resistances between 30 to 50, so a perfect Ward Gothic shield would be 50 all resistances. An all resistances 50 shield is pretty nice. That actually beats out an Ancient's Pledge. And then, of course, you could even throw a socket in there and put a perfect diamond in for some extra resistances. It could just be your Buku resistance shield. Not bad. All right, so moving on away from the normal uniques, we are now on to the Nightmare uniques. So the Nightmare uniques start again with the small shield known as the Defender. The Visceratuant. The Visceratuant Defender Shield has 125 defense, 70% chance to block on Paladins, 65 on AAB, and 60% on DNS. Now, the smite damage on this is 8 to 12, so as you can see, just as soon as we get into the Nightmare version shields, we are now much higher than the Swordback hold. So it's an immediate increase in smite damage, which most smiters will look at and go, oh, I would rather have, 8 to 12 smite damage than any of these shields right here, because that's my main source of damage. All right, so, and that moves up as we go up the line, and the Hell shields have even higher smite damage. This one has +1 to Sorceress skill levels, 30% faster block rate, 30% increased chance of blocking, 150% enhanced defense. Attacker takes lightning damage of 10. All right, so pretty big deal here all around because it's a very nice little low-level Sorceress shield, has very nice block chance, has very nice increased chance of blocking. It's definitely going to be a very defensible Sorceress shield. Now, granted, you don't have to be a Sorceress to use this. The 30% faster block rate, increased chance of blocking, I mean, that's something that could be useful on anybody. A Paladin could use this just so that he can have better blocking chance. You know, and a attacker takes damage, lightning damage of 10 is a pretty garbage stat, but it's there. As for variation on this, the main variation is the defense, which has a pretty high variance of 50%. Next on the list is the Moser's Blessed Circle Round Shield. Very small shield, and it has 2 sockets in it. So you could throw 2 perfect diamonds in here, put even more resistances on there. You could do a lot of things with the 2 sockets, so you could make something very interesting. This shield is a very nice one, I'm going to be honest. So if you look at it, it has 179 defense, 67% chance to block for paladins, 62 on AAB, and 57 on DNS. And the smite damage is 7 to 14, so not the greatest in the world. As you're approaching level 31, you may be looking at much more high damage shields for smiters anyway. 30% chance of faster block rate, so very, very nice there. 25% increased chance of blocking, very, very nice there. 220 enhanced defense, and then it has all resistances 25 already with 2 sockets. So very, very beautiful shield there all around. A very small little buckler, something you can just tag on and make to your specific requirements. So if you need extra all resist, throw in your 2 perfect diamonds. If you need something else, load those in there. You can mix it up. You could put 1 perfect diamond and something else. Whatever it is that you require in this shield comes with 2 sockets, so great little shield. And it's only level 31, so mid-tier, mid-level shield that you can just keep, and it's very small, so that's very nice too. So you can just sort of fit it in, unlike the Ward Gothic shield with 50 to all resistances. This one is 25, and you could make it even better than the Ward, and it fits into a much smaller space, as you can see. So space requirements. Next on the list is the Stormchaser Scudum. Scudum. I don't even know how to pronounce that. It has 198 defense, 64% block chance, which is 59% on AAB and 54% on DNS. The stats are interesting. It's a level 35 shield. It has 4% chance to cast level 5 Tornado Windstruck, 4% chance to cast level 6 Blizzard Windstruck, 10% faster block rate, 20% increased chance of blocking, 150 to attack rating, adds 1 to 60 lightning damage, which isn't anything to shake a stick at level 35, 220% enhanced defense, lightning resist 50, and half freeze duration. A very interesting shield all around. I wouldn't say that it's amazing or anything, but if you found it and you didn't have anything better, it could be fun to play around with. The stats on this thing really don't vary very much at all, except for the defense. Everything pretty much is static. The 150 to attack rating there is very nice, though. If you're having trouble with attack rating, this could be a shield to put on to boost your attack rating a little bit. Next on the list is the Tiamat's Rebuke. Oh, I forgot to say, it has 11 to 15 smite damage. Tiamat's Rebuke Dragon Shield. The Dragon Shield is 204 defense with a 48% chance to block. So very, very low blocking chance shield, and that's on Paladin. On Assassin, Amazon, and Barbarian, it's 43%, and on Druid, Necromancer, and Sorceress, it's only 38%. So pretty crappy as far as the block chance goes. Smite damage is 15 to 24, which is a lot higher, obviously, than the Petaluna Buckler, or the Visceratuant. It has 3% chance to cast level 6 Hydra Windstruck, 5% chance to cast level 7 Nova Windstruck, 5% chance to cast level 9 Frost Nova Windstruck. Now, Frost Nova Windstruck is really interesting because it slows down everything nearby. So as a defensive technique, I've always found a chance to cast level 9, or any level Frost Nova Windstruck is very useful from a defensive standpoint. Because imagine you have 9 or 10 monsters around you, they're wailing on you, you're dying, your little Frost Nova thing goes on, and all the monsters are now chilled, so they're attacking much slower, they're moving much slower, gives you a chance to get away. And of course it can trigger multiple times, which is cool. Alright, so adds 35 to 95 fire damage, adds 1 to 120 lightning damage, 27 to 53 cold damage, all resistances 33, and 200% enhanced defense with a socket. Now this is a very interesting shield because I feel like this shield would work its way very well into an elemental sorceress. Like for instance, you could build all 3 elemental masteries, enchant, and you could have some really cool weapon over here, and then you could have Tiamat's Rebuke on your right hand. Each one of your masteries would be increasing that fire, lightning, and cold damage by pretty large proportions, along with your enchant would be adding on top of that. You could also use this on just about any character, like a very highly elemental character, say Vengeance Paladin or a Holy Shakadin. Pretty much any character that needs a massive amount of elemental damage to augment their basic attacks. If you add all that up, that's, let's see. Let's just do the max just for right now. So 95 plus 120 plus 53, and of course that's cold damage too, which is going to give you a cold effect. So you're looking at 268 extra damage onto your attacks just from that on your maximum, and then on your minimum you're going to be getting 35. So 35 plus 1, which is the base of all lightning damage, and 27. So you're looking at 63 on your minimum there. Not a bad little shield, and if you were a sorceress, like I said, all of these would be getting beefed up by your masteries. I know most sorceresses don't use melee or ranged weapons, but if you were an enchant sorceress or what I would call an elementress who's using her masteries, all that massive amounts of elemental damage is going to get beefed up by your masteries. Now, this shield in particular has only variation on the defense, and the all resistances plus varies between 25 to 35%. So that's a very interesting. So a perfect Tiamat's Rebuke would be a 35% all resists. All right, next on the list is probably another good smiter shield for mid tier. It is the Lance Guard Barb Shield with a defense of 173, a chance to block of 47%, which is pretty darn awful. And then AAB is 42%, and then Druid Necromancer Sorceress is 37%. So pretty awful block chance. It does have 30% faster hit recovery, 20% deadly strike, which is double damage. 120% enhanced defense, 52 life, attacker takes damage of 47, and 50% damage taken goes to mana. So not a lot going for it other than that deadly strike and the smite damage. I mean, FHR is definitely a nice thing to have, but overall I think there's been a lot better shields so far. So maybe if you're not a smite paladin who needs that faster, that higher smite damage, you might not even be looking at this shield at level 35. All right, so next on the list is Gerke's Sanctuary Pavis. Gerke's Sanctuary Pavis is 268 defense, 75% chance to block on paladin. It actually is 84% chance to block on paladin, which is very interesting, and it goes over the cap, so it's always going to say 75. Amazon Assassin Barbarian is 79%, so again, it's still going to say 75. And then Druid Necromancer Sorceress is 74%, so the highest block chance shield we've come across so far for Druids, Necromancers, and Sorceresses. It also has 10 to 17 smite damage, which is not the greatest, but interesting. It has 133 strength requirement, so if you did plan to use it on a Druid, Necromancer, or Sorceress, that's going to be a little difficult to slot unless you have enough strength. 30% increased chance of blocking, 240% enhanced defense, replenished life plus 15, which is pretty sweet. 15 is a lot of replenished life, and you could stack that with some other objects. All resistance is plus 30, which is variable between 20 to 30. And then damage reduced by 16, which again varies between 11 and 16. And magic damage reduced by 14 to 18. So a very nice little shield here for just about anybody who's concerned specifically about block percentage. It's going to make your paladin's block percentage through the roof. You probably wouldn't even need to stack any stats to get your block percentage up for this character, or this particular item. And of course, it's got a socket, so you can throw some... You can throw a perfect diamond in there or something, or whatever else you want on your shield. In fact, a lot of these shields, believe it or not, I think most things people would put in these is perfect diamonds. There are some other options, of course, but it's very specific to your character, whereas perfect diamonds are just, pretty universal because everybody needs resistances, and if you can get a huge amount of resistances from your shield, it frees up other options for your rest of your gear. All right, so next on the list is the Lidless Wall Grim Shield. The Lidless Wall Grim Shield is a +1 to all skills shield, so something that a lot of characters will pay attention to. 347 defense, which is very nice. 50% chance to block for Paladin, 45% chance to block on AAB, and 40% on Necromancer, Druid, and Sorceress. Now, it has +1 to all skills, which is static, which is nice. 20% faster cast rate, 130% enhanced defense, +10 to energy, increases maximum mana by 10%, so a very caster shield there, as you can see, with the increased maximum mana and the 20% faster cast rate would be something that would be great to have on a sorceress or a bone spear necromancer or a tornado druid, those sort of things. They're characters that are trying to cast things really fast, need lots of mana, and would definitely benefit from +1 to all skills. It, of course, would also go good on a Hammerden. Now, this particular shield has 14 to 20 smite damage, as most spiked and grim shields tend to have more smite damage than everything else. Spiked being the highest, of course, and grim shield being the second highest. As you can see there, 14 to 20 versus the Gerke's Pavis Sanctuary has 10 to 17. All right. Very nice shield all around. I think there's a lot of characters that the Lidless Wall Grim Shield will work into. I don't really think most people would turn that down if they had any of these other shields. Maybe the Paladin Shield, since the Grim Wall is more caster, and the Kite Shield is more Steelclash. Kite Shield is more melee oriented. All right, so last on this particular character is the Radament's Sphere Ancient Shield. The Radament Sphere Ancient Shield has a defense of 282, 66% chance to block on Paladin. AAB is 61%, and Druid, Necromancer, Sorceress are 56%. It has 5% chance to cast level 5 Poison Nova on striking, or struck, so when you're beat up. 20% faster block rate, 20% increased chance of blocking, plus 80 to poison damage, which is interesting. 200% enhanced defense, poison resist 75%, and poison explosion 40 charges. So we have a very weird shield here. I don't really know a lot of characters that would rock this. Perhaps a poison dagger necromancer. I don't know. I feel like this shield is more of a specific use. Like people might use this against Andariel and Nightmare, or I'm really not sure. Moving on. Smite damage, by the way, is sorry, I have to take it off of him so I can see the smite damage. 12 to 16. All right, so I have to move to another character to get access to the next set of shields. So give me just a second. All right, so starting with the Hell variations of the shields is the unique Luna Shield, the Black Oak Shield. Sorry, I was about to say Black Cloak. It's not Black Cloak, it's Black Oak. 372 defense, 50% chance to block. It's 45 on AAB and 40% on Druid, Necromancer, Sorceress. The smite damage is 17 to 29, so as you can see, we're into the Hell Shields, and we're already better smite damage than pretty much all of the previous shields combined, with the exception of the Lance Guard Barb Shield, which was 18 to 35. So we're only just barely not beating out the Lance Guard Shield right at the very start of the Hell versions. Okay, so this shield has 4% chance to cast level 5 Weaken when struck. Very nice for defensive purposes. Weaken reduces the amount of damage, I believe, and attack rating on the monsters. Let me just double check that real quick. Weaken, casting this on a group lowers all their damage output by 33%, greatly decreasing your team's effective survivability. So 33% decreased damage as an ability to kind of keep yourself alive. Definitely useful. 50% faster block rate, so a huge faster block rate percentage there. Very nice for any character who's trying to get their block rate up. Now, of course, it has very low block chance, so that's kind of counterintuitive. But if you were a character that was struggling with faster block rate and you really need to get that fast block rate up, like for instance, I think Amazon has very low faster block rate breakpoints, so you would need a lot of block rate to get her to a good frames. And then we have 200% enhanced defense, 45 to dexterity based on character level, which is 0.5 per character level up to level 99. So at level 50, you're talking about 25 dexterity. At level 99, you're talking about 45. Very interesting because dexterity, a high amount of dexterity would definitely help your block chance. It also has life by level, which is also 1.25 per character level. So up to 99, that gives you 113. So very interesting there. Level 61, it's going to be a lot lower, obviously, than 113. And then we have 56 cold absorb damage based on level again. So a lot of level-based stats here. And the cold absorb is 0.625 per character level. So starting at 0 up to 61 max. My character's not level 99, is it? No. So, okay, hold on. So the life can vary from 1 to 123 at level 99, and the dexterity is up to 49 at level 99. I think my character's like level 91 or something. I was too lazy to hit the extra 9 in there. Alright, so we have half freeze duration as well. A very interesting shield all around, which is going to vary in effectiveness based on, how high of a level you are. 113 life isn't nothing to sneeze at. 45 to dexterity, or 49 to dexterity isn't nothing to sneeze at. And then, a huge amount of cold absorb like that is nothing to shake a stick at either. It could be worked into a build somehow. I'm not really sure what characters would want to use this, but with the weaken on there, the faster block rate on all the different varying stats, as well as the fact that it has a socket and you could throw a perfect diamond in there or something similar. Very interesting shield all around. Next on the list is the Stormshield Monarch Shield. The Monarch Shield has a required strength of 156, so very interesting. Now, the Stormshield Monarch Shield is 479 defense with a 75% chance to block, which actually is 77% on Paladin, so again above the cap there. Now, Amazon, Assassin, and Barbarian are 72%, so pretty close to the cap, and Druid, Necromancer, Sorceress are 67%. Very interesting shield. It has Indestructible on it, which, as you can see, that makes it indestructible. Smite damage, 12 to 34, and 35% faster block rate, 25% increased chance of blocking. It has defense based on character level, which goes from 3 to 371 at level 99. 30 to extra strength, which is sweet. Cold resist 60%, lightning resist 25%, and damage reduced by 35%. 35% is a really large number, and that's going to get you really close to that 50% damage reduction cap. So a very nice shield to try and work into your equipment to try and hit that 50% damage reduction cap, and then of course you can throw a gem in there and bring up the resistances even more. I probably wouldn't put a perfect diamond in there, though, because it already has 60-25. So, it would probably be something that I really needed. Like, as you can see, I would have a huge amount of cold resist for wearing this, and then my lightning would be okay, but my fire and my poison wouldn't be that great. So, it would really depend on what my particular character needs there. You're going to have to make that choice for yourself. Now, variation on this shield, there practically is none, with the exception of that, defense by character level. Next on the list is probably one of the best Smiter shields, because it is the Hell version of the Spiked Shield. It is the Spiked Thorn Blade Barrier with a smite damage of 26 to 40, so very high smite damage there. Of course, we haven't gotten into the specific Paladin shields yet, and we will get into those. So this shield has 410 defense, 50% chance to block for Paladins, 45 for AAB, and 40% for DNS. The defense is 150% enhanced, which varies between 120 and 150. So on these Hell shields, the variance of the defense actually does matter a lot because of how much they have. 30% faster hit recovery, which is always nice to have. Damage reduced by 20%. So a lot like the Stormshield Monarch, it has damage reduced by. So 20% is not going to get you to the cap, but you could combine that with something like the Shaft Stop Mesh Armor, I think, which has 30%, or you could combine it with a couple other items and get that to 50. It also has attacker takes damage of 125, which is based on character level, so that's between 1 to 136. It's not really a great stat at all. In hell difficulty, it does practically nothing. What is this shield used for? Smiters, maybe. It also would be handy to get your damage reduced by to a good number, but I mean, Stormshield Monarch seems to have much better at 35%, so if I were going for a damage reduced by shield, I'd probably go with this one instead of this one, especially since the block chance is better, the faster block rate is better, you know, just in general, it just seems like a better shield to build damage reduced by. But if I'm specifically trying to be a smiter, maybe this is something I want to go with for a little while, until I find something better. All right, next on the list is the Medusa's Gaze Aegis. The Medusa's Gaze Aegis has 453 defense, 54% block chance, smite damage of 18 to 28, required strength 219, pretty ridiculous, and 10% chance to cast level 7 lower resist when struck. So at lower resist is a very interesting ability, and it would definitely be good for certain characters, but if you're in the thick of it on a sorceress, you're probably going to die. And you're probably not going to be wearing this shield anyway, since it has 219 strength requirement. So, who would this be good for? Maybe a Vengeance Paladin, maybe a Holy Shock, Holy Freeze, Holy Fire Paladin, maybe a elemental damage character like a melee Lightning Amazon. I'm not sure. The lower resist is definitely going to be helpful to any character that does elemental damage and is in the thick of it getting hit all the time. 100% chance to cast level 44 Nova when you die. I've never found those to be useful unless you want to go die over and over again. 9% life stolen per hit. Lifesteal on a shield is very interesting. We haven't seen that yet, I don't think. Slows target by 20%. Slows target is a very awesome statistic. And it caps out at 85%, and it stacks on certain things like Holy Freeze, Decrepify, and various effects that give slows target by. We've gone over quite a few items that give slows target by, and it's just an amazing stat all around. So we have a very interesting shield here. 100% 80% extra defense, and cold resist 80%. So the variance on this is actually pretty high. It has a defense variance, which is 150 to 180, which is going to have a huge effect on that 453. It has 5 to 9 lifesteal, so you can find a pretty crappy lifesteal version. The cold resist also varies between 40 to 80%. That's pretty much it. The chance to block is pretty low, but you know, the effects are quite interesting. I'm not really sure exactly what characters you would use this for. Being that it has 9% lifesteal and slows target by 20%, it would probably be worked into some type of melee or ranged build. And then being that it has 10% chance to cast level 7 lower resist when struck, means it would probably be melee. You know, because if you're going to utilize that lower resist curse, you definitely need to be with melee to actually be hit for that lower resist curse to be proccing. Alright, next on the list is the Headhunter's Glory Troll Nest. The Headhunter's Glory Troll Nest has a defense of 582 and a chance to block of 50%. It's 45 for AAB and 40 for DNS. The Paladin Smite damage is 24 to 48, but still beat out by the 26 to 40 on the Spike Thorn Blade Barrier. But it is a very high number, still higher than the 11 to 35 on the Spirit Ward. So, very interesting choice here. 420 defense plus there on the stats. 350 defense versus missile. Fire resist 30%, poison resist 40%, and 7 to life after each kill with 3 sockets. So those 3 sockets actually are random. It can be anywhere between 1 to 3. The stats on this shield are not really the greatest. So if you were to find a 1 or a 2-socketed Headhunter's Glory, I'm not really sure why you would use it. You probably would need to find a 3-socketed one of these to really be worthwhile. And then on top of that, the fire resist varies from 20 to 30, and the poison resist varies from 30 to 40, and the defense varies from 320 to 420, and the defense versus missile varies from 300 to 350. So, you know, good luck finding a perfect version of this shield. Even the life after each kill varies from 5 to 7. So, you know, just one of these shields that you're going to find really crappy versions of, and you might find a decent version of, but you're probably never going to find a perfect version of it because there's just so much variance. Now, last on the Hell normal, non-class shields is the Spirit Ward. The Spirit Ward is 478 defense, chance to block 75%. It has 11 to 35 smite damage with a required strength of 185 and 5% chance to cast level 8 Fade when struck, which level 8 Fade is going to be extra resistances and damage reduction. Level 8 Fade is a duration of 204 seconds. It is going to give you plus 50% to all resistances, and it is going to give you a physical resist of 8%. So a very interesting thing there. Plus 50 to all resistances when you're being beat up, but not not all the time. 25% faster block rate, 30% increased chance of blocking, 100% 80 enhanced defense, 180% enhanced defense. All resistances plus 40 and cold absorb 11. Now, the variations on this shield are pretty significant. So it does have 30 to 40 all resists. It does have 6 to 11 cold absorb, and it does have 20 to 30% faster block rate, as well as 130 to 180% enhanced defense. So this is one that you're going to find, and it's going to be either a really good one or a really bad one. And that chance to cast level 8 Fade when struck is very interesting because it's sort of like this random chance to have extra resistances and extra physical damage reduction. And it's not something that you can really count on, but it's something that's very interesting that it's there. And I don't really know what to think about that. Because 50 to all resists randomly and 8% to physical reduction randomly is definitely nice to have, but I wouldn't want to build my character around it, you know what I mean? But then it also has all resistances plus 40 on there too, so I don't really know. As for the block chance, it has a very high percentage block chance on all characters. It is 74 to 84% on Paladin. It varies. It is 69 to 79% on Amazon Assassin and Barbarian, and it is 64 to 74% on Druid, Necromancer, and Sorceress. So as you've seen in this video, as we've gone along, there's very few shields that have a 74% or even near block, cap block percentage for Druids, Necromancers, and Sorceress, and there was only 2 of them basically, and that was the I think it was the Beverits Keep, or no, Gerke's Sanctuary Pavis, and the Spirit Ward. Those are the only 2 really that have 74% for Amazon, or Druid, Necromancer, and Sorcerer. So if you did intend on building shield block chance on your Druid, Necromancer, or Sorceress, it looks like these are your main 2 shields for that 74% block chance. So Spirit Ward and the Gerke's Sanctuary Pavis. All right, so moving on to the unique Paladin shields, we're going to start with the first one, which is the Gilded Shield. The Gilded Shield is the Herald of Zakarum, and the Herald of Zakarum shield actually gets up increased with the cube recipes quite a lot. So a lot of people will actually take this and turn it into like the Zakarum shield, or they'll turn it into I'm trying to remember. There's like 2 different ones. Anyway, it's a very interesting one to up armor, so you can get that extra defense. Now, right off the bat, there we're looking at 507 defense, a 75% chance to block, and thankfully I don't have to read off any other classes because this is a Paladin only shield. 20 to 28 smite damage. So as you can see, still not quite better than the Blade Barrier Spike Thorn. It has +2 to combat skills, Paladin only, +2 to Paladin skills, 30% faster block rate, 30% increased chance of blocking, 20% bonus to attack rating, which is pretty amazing, 200% enhanced defense, 20 to strength, 20 to vitality, and all resistances 50. Now, as far as variance is concerned on this shield, it does vary between 150 to 200% on the enhanced defense, which, as you can see, since it has 507, is a pretty big deal. And there's literally no other variations on this shield. If you find one of these with a good defense, it literally would be perfect. And that's a lot. I think a lot of the reasons why people will upgrade this to a higher version, just simply because it already has such nice defense, and you upgrade it to the Hell version of this shield, and you're going to get even more defense. And of course, the strength requirement is going to go up when you do that. Next on the list is the Alma Negra. Alma Negra. Sacred Rondochet. It has a defense of 511, a block chance of 75%. It has a smite damage of 35 to 58. So as you can see, we are now beating the Spike Thorn Blade Barrier. So we've now eclipsed this shield. So if you can get your hand on a Sacred Rondochet, it's going to be even better than a Spike Thorn Blade Barrier. +2 to all Paladin skill levels, which does vary between 1 to 2, 30% faster block rate, 20% increased chance of blocking, 40 to 75% enhanced damage. So very interesting statistic here. So you can find a pretty crappy one of these because 40% enhanced damage versus 75% is a pretty big deal, especially at level 77. So this would be great for a character who relies on his damage. It would even help out a Vengeance Paladin, who is because Vengeance is built off of your damage. So if your damage is higher before Vengeance is taking its calculation, it'll help you out there. 40 to 75% bonus to attack rating. Again, very large variance there. 210 enhanced defense, and magic damage reduced by 9. So this shield has a lot of variance on it. You know, you could find a +1 version with pretty crappy enhanced damage and bonus to attack rating, and it would still be a decent shield, but it wouldn't be as great as a perfect one with +2, 75, 75. So very interesting shield there, and of course it has a socket, so you can slam something in there like maybe a perfect diamond or something like that. All right, so last on our shields. Last on the shields is the Dragonscale Zakarum Shield. The Dragonscale Zakarum Shield is 582 defense, 52% chance to block, which is pretty low for a Paladin-only shield. Adds 211 to 371 fire damage. Very interesting. 15% to fire skill damage, +10 to Hydra. 200% enhanced defense, +25 to strength, 5% to maximum fire resist, and fire absorb 20%. So very fire, related skill shield here. Probably would be something that you'd want to use on a holy fire paladin or something. Because I mean, look at all that fire skill damage, extra fire damage, Hydra damage. You know, just in general, all about fire. It even has fire absorb too, so you can be extra tanky versus fire. All in all, it's a very specific shield that would be used on very specific paladins. It's not something that I would use, like for instance, on a Zeal paladin, unless you really wanted that extra fire damage. And I probably wouldn't use it on a Hammerdin. You know, I probably wouldn't use it on a Chargedin. You know, that sort of thing. It would be something that I'd be specifically using on someone who has lots of fire damage or who wants lots of fire damage. And as for variance, this has a variance of 10 to 20 on the fire absorb. It has a vary of 15 to 25 on the strength, and it varies 170 to 200% on the defense, which I feel like it has almost less defense than the Herald of Zakarum shield, which is very interesting. So I'm assuming that if you were to beef this up, the Herald of Zakarum shield, to the next tier, it would get quite a huge boost in its defense, because the base would go up quite a bit. Go cast my Hydras. I don't even have the mana to cast Hydras. I don't even have the mana to cast the Hydras. No. My level 10 Hydras at 77 to 94 damage. How dare they? I always wonder why they do things like this, because you look at it. It's 74 to 94 damage. And even with the, even with the 15% extra fire damage skill, what is that giving you? Like, just an awful amount of damage, right? So what, 94 is your maximum. So 94 plus 15%. So you're only getting 108 damage per Hydra. You can cast what, I think it's 5 Hydras, and then the Hydras shoot multiple times. So, even if you have 5 Hydras doing 114 damage. So if it has 5 Hydras at 114 damage times 5, that's 570 damage, and then let's say they shoot 3 times or 2 times a second. So let's just we'll be generous. So they're shooting 2 times a second. That's about 1,140 damage if you stand there and cast your Hydras and keep them up. Very odd. Very odd. I'm not really sure about that. And it would be an interesting shield, though, to have on a Holy Fire Paladin. because it would beef up that that Holy Fire skill. Not really sure how much damage that would equate to once you were at max. So once you had level 20 Holy Fire and level 20... You know what, let's... It'd take me 2 seconds to go ahead and slap 20 points into that. Just give me 2 seconds. Alright, so I'm back. And Holy Fire. So, max Holy Fire. And I'm talking max Holy Fire. So we've got 20 points into Resist Fire. We've got 20 points into Holy Fire. So Holy Fire is dishing out 643 to 713. And then our fire skill damage is increasing that by a pretty significant proportion. I mean, look at that. We're going from 648 to 730 to 978, 1098 to 1388. And of course, it has 211 to 371 fire damage already. So, you know, it is dishing out a massive amount of fire damage on the melee. So definitely an interesting ability to beef up your fire damage. There are other ways to beef up your fire damage, obviously, besides this shield. You know, you can go with plus fire skills items. You can go with like negative resistance items, like we were looking at earlier. That shield that gives negative, the level 7 lower resists. You could also dish out, you know, a lot of plus to skills, which is going to increase your Holy Fire, which is being modified by Resist Lightning and Salvation, so you're going to be tacking on even more damage as the base increases. I'm not really sure about building Fire, because Fire tends to be one of the ones that is resisted more, but if you notice, when you build Holy Fire, for instance, it's only 1, so 1, 2, so 21 points to get that to that, right? 20 points here, so you're talking about 41. And then 20 points here, so you're talking about 61 points. So a total of 61 points are required to build out a Holy Fire Paladin. And Salvation also synergizes with any of these others. So you could also, theoretically, build Holy Shock. So that's 60 plus, 61 plus, so 62. And then 82. And then 90, 102. So you're still talking about having like a decent amount of points left to put into something else, like grabbing a Holy Shield. You know, maybe you want Zeal, so you put a couple points into Zeal, and you know, that maybe that's how you dish out your damage. So you could build 2 different ones. You could be a Tesla slash, you know, fired in, and you could switch back and forth between 2 different weapon sets. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed this video on Diablo 2's unique shields, and this wraps up the shields. I'm moving into the weapons now after the shields, so we're going to be getting into things like staves and wands and bows and two-handed swords, one-handed swords, and two-handed axes and one-handed axes, and so forth and so on. And I'm going to break it up into workable segments. Unfortunately, if I did them all at once, I probably would pass out. Now, if you want to learn how to find any of these shields, again, I always have the links down in the description, down in the description, to show you how to find items. There's a magic find video there. You can watch that video. I go over everything. There's also a link to basically 4 different things that will show you how to look up where to find your items, you know, where to do your magic finding, where the best places are, etc. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you look forward to the next one.
He's a little booty. He's a little booty, aren't you? That's a cute little booty.